The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, a breakdown in communication, and as a result, a no-bid $183 million road contract was uncovered. The Office of the Prime Minister speaks to what happened. That's coming up. Also tonight, the world-famous Valley Boys are here. Yes, they're still carrying that name. So where does the group stand, and will they remain at a stalemate, as they did last Junkanoo season, until the 2025-2026 Junkanoo season? And the Climate Change Division in the Office of the Prime Minister is looking for a new climate change ambassador. Could you be the lucky candidate? This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. An administrative error stemming from what is believed to be a breakdown in communication is what officials say is the reason behind a recently publicized $183 million no-bid contract. Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Raming, making the admission today, while maintaining that officials did nothing unscrupulous. The hefty contract was awarded to Abaco Caribbean Holdings Limited, an affiliate of the Baha Mar Striping Group of companies, for road paving in West Grand Bahama. However, Raming could not say exactly when did the breakdown in communications happen, although he did say the nation's chief advised that the contract be paused.
The Prime Minister has reviewed the decision-making process and confirmed that an administrative error led to the inclusion of an allocation that had been previously paused under his instructions. While the need for public works in Grand Bahama remains real, and the specific matter was set aside for further review, unfortunately, the instruction was not reflected in the final published list. As stated in our previous statements, there were no wrongdoing, no improper intent, and no malfeasance. The model of the contract is in question involved a project manager coordinating multiple contractors, not a single vendor receiving full allocation. This review is ongoing, and once completed, a revised statement will be issued to the public. We remain committed to transparency and to correcting the record when errors are identified. These are two separate issues, but both speak to the same principle, that the Prime Minister leads with accountability, with discipline, and with the best interests of the Bahamian people at his heart.
Well, of course, as you know, that disclosure came last week when it was discovered about the $183 million road paving contract to happen in West Grand Bahama. It also was discovered at the time that it was basically awarded to Abaco Caribbean Limited as a no-bid contract, meaning that it really didn't go out to tender. That's what it's all about. Well, many people have so many varying views on that this evening. I followed up further and was told that, again, as you saw and heard, nothing unscrupulous happened, and that the Office of the Prime Minister himself, made the call to, listen, put a hold on that until everything is discovered. And so many people are asking many different questions on it, like, how did it get to the point of being approved if it did not go through the proper process? Well, we're going to get into that this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines contributors, Ellington Ferguson and Candace Scott. I don't know. Right. Welcome. Good evening. Good evening. I have no idea. Good evening to all of you. Peggy Scott. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you both here. Let's jump right in because we have a jam-packed show this evening. This here, you saw the Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister speaking to this contract, again, it was disclosed or uncovered rather last week, and the Office of the Prime Minister is now officially speaking to it earlier today.
Well, good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Since this is beyond the headlines, let me help the Bahamian people. Mr. Raming was very eloquent in his speech. Going beyond the headlines, what he really was saying is that, yes, there was a contract to this amount. The Prime Minister knew about it. The Prime Minister said he had not released it to go out. Somebody is working around the Prime Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. They decided that the Prime Minister is not ready to put this out. I'm going to put this out. I'm going to make this deal happen. Case closed. That's exactly what, based on what Mr. Raming said, that is what happened.
Good evening, Peggy Candace. If what Mr. Farrington has just explained, Mr. Farrington, Ferguson, sorry.
All the names, there's just all this going on with names today.
Yes.
I started it. Yeah. I'm the one. I started it.
If what Mr. Ferguson summarized, Mr. Raming is saying, then it bears to ask the question, who is running the Office of the Prime Minister? Now, I did some search too, and I was told that only 2 persons can sign off on that, a contract of that size. Would either be the Minister of Finance or second in charge of the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Alkides. So like you said, Shanique, there are questions being asked by the general public. Where did the exit fall? Who signed on the contracts for the contracts to be this far? Even the amount of the contracts, I understand, was in the paper that was released as contracts issued. If this is on the list of contracts issued, when did the Prime Minister put a pause on this contract? There are so many questions. Bahamians are losing trust within this administration with each blue policy. Remember, the contract for the mooring in Exuma was pulled after certain revelations were made. And so if there's an administration error, how many other errors is out there that we, the people who are paying these loans, that are being made? And so there's an expression that I've been reading all evening from Facebookers concerning this matter. We must see is skunk. What does that mean? We must be stupid. We must be all the average. We must be just here to get beat like conch. The questions need to be answered. The Bahamian people deserve a response and explanation on when did this contract was paused, and how can a paused contract still be awarded to this company?
In addition to that, Shanique, we've had several of these type of blunders during this administration. And when you're making blunders of this magnitude with the Bahamian taxpayers' money, if somebody's making this kind of blunder, obviously it's time to release them. Obviously they are not prepared for the job, they're ill-suited for the job, and this is too big to just call it a blunder and we all smile and kiss and go on our merry way.
And too often to have the Office of the Prime Minister or the Trade have to come out and address the press and say, hey,
not good at all.
Hey, listen, we've pulled it back, we've paused it. No. Where do you suppose the strings need to be tightened in the Office of the Prime Minister? Because obviously there's several multiple agencies and departments happening there. You mentioned the Minister of Economic Affairs, and so there are so many different levels of the way things are approved and must be given the stamp of approval. So where is the weak link?
So we have to look at the chain of command within the Prime Minister office. The most authoritative person is the Prime Minister. Then you have Minister Alkides, and then you have the Financial Secretary. Between the three of them, they have the power of approval. And so if there's going to be some scrutiny, some question asked, it has to be to those three gentlemen. And if the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas says no, and people are saying, forget you, yes, that is a major, major problem. That is a major breakdown in the chain of command. That is a major breakdown. And who's running things? And that is the question that is being asked. Who's running things in the Prime Minister's office? Is the Prime Minister, Philip Brave Davis, in charge, or who is in charge?
Ellington, Peggy is suggesting that people are trying to circumvent authority. Do you believe it's something like that? I mean, just based on sort of the little trail, the trail that from the moorings to this?
Shanique, absolutely. I totally believe that. I've heard horror stories from people who have done their work and can't get their money. The Prime Minister said he okayed it, but people who was responsible in there for signing off on these payments refuse to do it, even though they have turned in all of their papers and the work is completed satisfactorily. And so it seems like there is somebody who decided, I'm not going to pay you, I have this going on, I'm going to make that happen, and they're deciding what they're going to make happen regardless to what the Prime Minister is saying, and they're making the Prime Minister look terrible. It's not good for this administration.
What is sad is all of the blunders, and you would think after the first year that they would iron out the kinks, and because it's been happening from the inception of this administration. But now we're all 3 years and a half, almost ready. Everybody is saying campaign season, blah, blah, blah. And at this stage, there seems still to be an authoritative crisis within the Prime Minister's office. I remember at one point, I did a meme that said, Simon says. Simon says. And it appears that at that point in time, everybody was saluting that Mr. Simon Wilson, the financial secretary, was making the final decision. And we were hoping by now we would have seen who is in charge. And for these incidents to still be taking place almost at the end of the 4th year is a big problem for this administration when it comes to the Bahamians' confidence in what is released from the office of the Prime Minister. And I'm telling you the truth, every time we see Latrell ramming, it's to clean up a mess.
Well, he certainly has a lot on his hand to try and sort through. As you heard him say, obviously an investigation is underway to uncover exactly who gave these approvals, who passed or issued this no-bid contract. He said, obviously we will follow up on that to see exactly where it goes, where the fingers point, and to see, because these types of gaffes are quite costly, aren't they? And certainly don't need to be happening. But listen, I'll tell you what is happening and what is perhaps good news for one individual. It's this latest ruling coming out of New York. A favorable ruling for the initial investor of the Baha Mar resort is set in stone tonight. This as a New York appeals court has spoken loud and clear against the defendants who relentlessly fought against the ruling since it was handed down. As a result of this sustained judgment, the defendants are being demanded to pay up.
Oops.
But the question is, will they use 2 local hotels as collateral damage to pay their debts? That remains a lingering question. We get this story from Jose Etienne.
A major legal win for Baha Mar Resort's original developer, BML Properties Limited, led by Sarkis Ismarillion, who is emerging from a years-long legal battle with the backing of a New York appeals court. This after the higher court completely dismissed the appeal filed by China Construction America, the defendant in the case. The ruling clears the path for Ismarillion to receive a $1.6 billion damages award for fraud and breach of contract by CCA. The initial ruling was handed down in October of last year by a New York Supreme Court judge, but CCA responded swiftly, requesting a stay on the settlement. The defendants later argued that appealing was, quote, the first step towards correcting a ruling that misapplies basic principles of New York law, misconstrues core facts, and completely overlooks the consistently tireless construction work done by CCA Bahamas that ultimately completed the Baha Mar project, end quote. Here's how this legal showdown unfolded. The court found that CCA executives violated their investors' agreement by requesting $54 million from BMLP to pay subcontractors, then using the funds instead to purchase the Hilton Hotel in downtown Nassau. The ruling also hinted at political entanglements, suggesting that CCA allegedly relied on a senior advisor to then Prime Minister Perry Christie to facilitate Ismarillion's removal from the project. The Supreme Court's decision concluded that these breaches and acts of fraud led to a catastrophic financial loss for Ismarillion, with his $845 million investment wiped out. Following the court's decision, concerns emerged that the defendants could be forced to use two operating hotels, the British Colonial and Margaritaville, to help satisfy the judgment. That possibility raised fears of job losses among Bahamian workers. But back in December, Prime Minister Philip Davis dismissed such concerns when asked about the impact of the ruling.
The hotels are here. The rooms are here. They'll be operating here. All could happen is a change in ownership. Doesn't mean that the hotel's going to close or jobs will be lost, right? And in those instances, the government will have a duty in the public interest to ensure that jobs are protected.
Jose Atiet, Eyewitness News.
Well, late this afternoon, Ismailian company BML Properties Limited released a statement and says that its chief prevailed in its efforts to enforce the $1.6 billion judgment against CCA and its affiliates after the New York Appeals Court unanimously dismissed the defendant's last-ditch appeal. According to Ismailian, the judgment now stands at 1.7. Listen, add that interest on $1.7 billion. You all heard that? In a press release, Ismailian notes a New York Supreme Court ruling handed down last year, which was recently sustained, confirms that the defendant's multiple acts of fraud and breaches caused the Baha Mar project to miss its opening, resulting in BML Properties losing the investment. You all, listen, for this, I mean, do they need to go to court anymore? What is it that you think is in the best interest of the Bahamas and those properties, you feel?
What was in the best interest of the Bahamas and those properties should have happened immediately after the case. I'm not surprised at all at the appeals court ruling. When you look at the evidence and how obvious it was, I can't see why China State Construction, a major company like that, would waste its time and resources going to an appeal court. Now it's even more. They might have to give up much more than they had to give up before. And so it's, I agree with Davis. I always know that Ismailian has the interests of the Bahamian public at heart. I thought he treated those employees that he had down there at Baha Mar very well. Yes. He continued to pay them. And I'm happy that for this outturn, he was treated wrong. I remember the story told by former Prime Minister Perry Christie, how he went and searched out Ismailian and asked him to take over the then Carnival Crystal Palace and redevelop that. And Ismailian brought this vision to him, good residents of our country. Mm-hmm. Let's treat them fairly.
Mm-hmm. My greatest concern will always be, how does it affect Bahamians? And that is the question that needs to be asked. I understand what the Prime Minister is saying, but is it as simple a matter of that?
Well, obviously it's not that simple. That's the thing. It is that simple, but yet it's not.
It's not.
You know?
So what becomes of the Blue Nation, that what Bahamian workers will call it Baha Mar? What becomes of the workers whose life is depending on being employed at both hotels?
They will continue to work. Ismailian is a good resident of the Bahamas.
So if you're willing to just walk in there like a boss.
And just ask the manager to report to his office.
Yes.
CY. Listen, I thank you all very, that's what he's going to say, CY.
We're all being
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I thank you all very much. Of course, Peggy and Ellington, thank you both very, very much. Listen, we are just getting started this evening. We're going to shift gears after this break and come back with the world famous Valley Boys. That's right. You heard that, world famous Valley Boys. Jay Evening playing. They are going to join me this evening on the desk. Stay close.
To the courts.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Enjoy zero-down financing on your next visit to Montague Motors. Our selection of cars come included with license, inspection, and a 3-month warranty. And with our easy 24 hours financing, you will be on the road in up to 48 hours. What makes Montague Motors different? We inspect our cars in Japan, providing you with the best quality purchase. Visit Montague Motors today, number 6 Village Road. Call or check our Facebook page for more information.
What is it? Huh? Oh, ghost pepper burger. Chicken. I always at Popeyes, so me just come and taste that chicken.
Wow.
Nice, crunchy. This is off the chisholm.
Wow, that is way better than I expected. Very spicy, extremely spicy actually. The bread is very soft. The chicken is juicy. Yeah, that's spicy for me.
Attention, Baha Mar! Get ready to link up in Eleuthera. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, Colette, Baha Mar, and the Rock Sound Homecoming Committee presents KB and Friends Boatman Show, April 18th and 19th in beautiful Rock Sound, Eleuthera. At the homecoming site, April 18th, experience the boatman himself, KB. Mama D, Colin McDonald, and the Falcons. April 19th, the vibes keep going with Ancient Man, Fan Sean, Teray Roll, Keisha, and the King of the South, Avi. With music by DJ Rad, Pop Style, DJ Lodge, and DJ Andy. Don't miss the Boatman Easter Weekend concert. Book your flights, rooms, and rentals now. For info, email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Telephone 558-3804. Don't miss the ultimate Boatman concert. See you in Eleuthera, April 18th and 19th.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the Legends of Rake and Scrape, May 10th at The Farm, Marshall Road.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, it's been about 18 months since the Valley Boys had a major rift. That rift resulted in a split, and as you saw in the last season, the world-famous Valley Boys went down Bay Street, and then the Way Forward Valley Boys went down Bay Street. Since that time, that was just a couple of months ago, since that time, it was a court that ruled that the Way Forward Valley Boys are the rightful owners of the name, and perhaps the rightful Valley Boys, that they are entitled to carrying that name, and ordered the world-famous Valley Boys to come up with another name. The row has been going on, really, like I said, about a year and a half now, and it seems as though it's not stopping because just a few days ago, the world-famous Valley Boys says, listen, we ain't going nowhere. We're not giving up the name. We're going to fight this out, and we are not deterred. Well, this evening, we're going to hear more from them. For the first time, they're speaking out on this platform. Please welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Patrick Adderley and LeVar Ferguson. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Well, gentlemen, let's just talk. What is the status? I know, you know, you all talk brave talk, and you all, you know, you have really tough words and everything. But what is the status of the world famous Valley Boys? Go ahead, Patrick.
I'll go. The status of the world famous Valley Boys is that we're registered with the JCNP for the upcoming parades, and we will be very, very competitive, and we will continue to do what we have always done on Bay Street, bring excellence and performance and showmanship. That's what we do.
Patrick and LeVar, how can you be registered with the JCNP even to this day as world famous Valley Boys when a court ordered a handful of weeks ago that listen, you all no longer have the right to carry the Valley Boys name?
So just for clarity, it isn't the policy of the Valley Boys to, at this time, comment too much on what His Lordship is doing in the court. You will not find us speaking out in that regard because it's inappropriate. However, what we will say is that we respect the court's ruling, and there are processes in place that you have these conversations when you believe otherwise. But His Lordship is the sole decision maker as it relates to the facts of the law. With that being said, His Lordship did give us a ruling. The ruling was based on the adaptation of the law, and at no point did he say that the court will order discontinuance of the use of the name. At paragraph, this is just the surface, because the matter is an ongoing matter. He said in paragraph 57 three things: that leave is denied, that the defendant has the power to exercise a statutory duty, and he made an order for cause. And what part 2 means is, yes, there were provisions to remove the world-famous Valley Boys from the register of NPOs. But as it has been stated from basically the inception of this matter, an NPO is not required to register with the JCNP. Now, there are some who may say that that is just a misconception or that is an interpretation that we came up with to try and quote-unquote save face. But that isn't the case. The JCNP required, I think about 15, maybe 10 years ago, 2015, 10 years ago, they required that Junkanoo groups establish themselves with a TIN number. The Valley Boys was furnished with this TIN number some 10 years ago. And the Valley Boys is a household name.
It is a household name. And LeVar, I'm happy you know the law so well. You speak, you're an attorney. That's good. It's good that you can speak so with such great legalese and ease. But the thing is, you all go back and forth about the fact that you have the TIN number. Then another group says, oh, we are rightfully the Valley Boys. When are you going to get beyond this? Because obviously you have a very strong case, just to hear you state it here. I can imagine the way you guys go back and forth in your meetings and in court. But I mean, doesn't this sort of just put you all in this stalemate?
So, well, this is a good opportunity, as our chairman did today on another news outlet. This is our time to apologize to the Bahamian people. And I would also use this time to tell the Bahamian people that this was not a war that we started. And up to now, we have not been in the media. We have not engaged in defaming everybody has disagreements. Everyone has disagreements. And while this whole ordeal has been fleshed out, we have opted, in respect of the legacy of the Valley Boys, to remain quiet. We have remained quiet all of this time while individuals have gone on TV, they have taken to social media and called us everything except children of God. And what I want to do is apologize, like the chairman, to the general public. But it is important that the public understands that we did not start this battle.
So that's to say you're not standing down?
We're not standing down. We are not standing down, but we, in the class of individuals that we are, in respecting the legacy of the Valley Boys, in respecting the foundation of those that we stand on, we will not demean the Valley Boys name in bringing it so low as to speak bad about those fellas in years past. We have gone, as we say, to war with on Bay Street. They were at our side, and every family disagrees. But one thing you will never see Grammy do is tell someone else about her family.
And that is our approach, because the situation...
So you feel the other group, and when I say you, I'm meaning the world famous, feels that the other group was out of line for going and putting that dirty laundry and the disagreements out there for public display and consumption.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is not our style. And, just like Lavar say, every chance we get, we have to apologize to the public, apologize to our sponsors and fans and supporters, because that's not our style. I mean, this is a in-house fight that's just gone out in the streets.
The criticism has been from the others that, listen, man, this world famous group is not moving, and you all are not of the 2025 era. You've lagged and dragged behind groups like One Family and others who are now real organizations, and that their vision and their hope is just to take this household, well-respected, highly regarded group that is the Valley Boys further into the future. How do you respond to that?
Shanique, well, I'll say this first. That's a good point. But the way they have gone about it is unacceptable. The way that they have brought this private spot into the public's eye is unacceptable. The way that we have allowed this to spill into the personal lives and jobs of those that support our faction is unacceptable. Because when you have disagreements, but you have people stepping in to threaten your livelihood because you disagree, that is the lowest of the low.
You feel, the group, meaning, believes that the world famous has been unfairly treated. How so?
Well, as I said earlier, this is an ongoing court matter, and so forgive me if I choose my words a bit carefully.
Well, choose it and choose it right and speak and spit it out. How have you been unfairly treated?
There are some questions and concerns that we have. And the main one is a group like the Valley Boys that has been receiving seed money from the government, that has a TIN number for 10 years. How is it possible that someone who has never sat on management, who has never even been briefed by a management meeting, was able to walk in a facility and say, I want that? What or who made that possible? And it is a sticky situation because there seems to be...
So you're saying that an average person would not be able to just walk up in there and say, listen, let me grab this?
We know how difficult it is to get a business license in this country.
Yeah.
So in knowing these things, there's some uneasiness about this situation. And again, I say, we see the other side, they go on TV and they throw this pity party. They speak about the tyranny of Brian Adley. They speak about the tyranny of Moan Archer. But what they are doing...
Is the world famous pleased with the leadership of Brian Adley?
Every family has some concerns. Every family has some concerns.
That sounds like no.
The chairman, no, I was about to say yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The chairman is leading us through these concerns. And one thing I will say to that is succession planning. A lot of individuals on the other side, they are angry at the present succession planning. Maybe some feel as though they should be apart. Maybe some feel as though other individuals shouldn't be apart, but there is succession planning. And if there wasn't, I wouldn't be here today.
What's your position?
As of late, the group agreed to have me lead the new membership and welfare committee. And this committee is tasked with basically serving the members and community outreach. And so even today, we signed an agreement with one of the junior Jonkano senior high schools where we have agreed to mentor them. And that in itself is a continuation of the succession plan. So I say that to say, if there wasn't any succession, none of that would exist.
Patrick, listen, is the world famous open at any time to some sort of coming together some sort of mediation that someone can come in the middle, bring you both together, you both meaning the Way Forward Valley Boys and the world famous Valley Boys, to try sort of make amends?
The way that I answer that is simply this, right? Lamar, he heads the membership.
There's a process.
And we invite all Valley Boys to come, and they can apply through the portal. We have we will even fast track their applications from the other side.
So you all are not stuck in the dark ages. This world famous has been making steps towards progress and continues to do so.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Listen, you all have to come back. Let's come back and let's chat it up some more. Let's chat it up some more. I welcome you both back. Would love to hear some more, obviously, because you all know it's like roughly 8 months until. Okay then.
We prepared.
That's all I'm saying.
We prepared. We're making preparations. We could be done.
We don't want two Valley Boys on Bay Street again.
No, we can't help that.
That's the wrong person.
That's out of our hands.
Yes, gentlemen, I thank you both very, very much. Patrick Adderley and LeVar Ferguson of the world famous Valley Boys this evening. I'm just trying to put their side out there and speak really for the first time. Gentlemen, I thank you very much, of course, again. It's an authentic invitation. You are welcome back anytime. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Legends of Rake Spray. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Chino D, D-Mac, Sweet Emily, Simeon Alton, Veronica Bishop, and more like the Singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bungie Brand at the Beauty Shack, both locations. Skyboxes and Sky Pod. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th, come by boat and play and experience the legends of Rake and Scrape. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Baha Mar, Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the Office of the Prime Minister, as you know, has been leading regionally, the Prime Minister himself, this conversation on climate change and getting the region up to par. I mean, we know what the impact has been, the stronger hurricanes and the floods and tornadoes and various parts of the Caribbean, where there is a concern because our islands are quite vulnerable based on the fact that largely most of them are low-lying, and there's just so much going on in terms of where we are positioned and these storms that continue to happen during hurricane season. Well, just to lighten it up a bit, it's not going to be heavy. The Office of the Prime Minister is attempting to approach climate change and educate and get people interested and mindful and never forgetting about it by obviously looking for a new ambassador. This ambassador will be the climate change youth ambassador. So it's again trying to reach out to the next generation and get them interested, educated, knowledgeable, and involved. I am happy to welcome to the show this evening Charles Hamilton. Charles is a climate change advisor at the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister. And Charles, good evening to you. It's great to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be here. Absolutely. So yeah, I think, Shanique, you gave a really good intro in terms of what we're trying to do at the CCEAU, empowering young Bahamians to become the next generation of climate change advocates for our country. And, you know, this is a program that's been going on now. This will be its 4th year. And we're looking for 2 passionate, 2 bright.
Oh, 2 ambassadors.
2.
Oh.
1 male and 1 female,
awesome.
80 to 25 years old. And you're looking to implement a plan in country to help address the climate crisis and also represent and ensure that the voices of youth are heard at the international stage, regionally and internationally. This isn't about tokenism. This is about empowering Bahamians to have their voice heard and to have real change occur.
But also to understand what our role is. I know we are looking at the major countries and that whole sort of like, hey, listen, pay us for this, that, and the next, and the damage you cause to smaller developing nations. But what is it that we can benefit from through this youth ambassadorship and ships that you intend to have them go out to further educate and have us be aware of what climate change is?
Well, one thing is having these ambassadors making the message simple for Bahamians.
Important.
And implementing real steps here on the ground in the Bahamas. So one of the things that they have to do is actually develop a 6-month platform of an initiative that they would like to engage in country to ensure that their peers and the wider Bahamian public are engaged on climate change. So maybe that means forming a new group that will help to address issues like let's say, beach pollution, or helping to advance issues regarding ensuring that people are aware about the climate crisis from a health issue or from an agriculture issue. We want persons to be able to use their imagination, right? Additionally, they're out in the international fora talking and engaging with policymakers, with prime ministers, with presidents, and saying, I am a young person from the Bahamas, and this climate crisis is not something that I have caused. What are you going to do to ensure that young people back here at home have a place to live, have a place to survive? We're looking for persons. It doesn't matter whether you are in the climate sciences or not. We know
just individuals who can be very passionate
correct.
And obviously articulate the message and
Yes.
get people also on board.
Absolutely,
with this.
absolutely.
So this is not just a name only to say, hey, this is what we're doing.
No.
It seems as though they are going to be traveling the world, certainly going to major conferences and meetings to be able to present their thoughts and views and to stress continually to those around the table and in the rooms of how vulnerable our nations are.
Absolutely. And so one of the major meetings that they will have an opportunity to attend is COP30 in Brazil, the 10th year anniversary of the Paris Agreement. And we hear what's going on out there about different countries and how they view about it, but we have to talk for us. We have to talk for us. And young people, I want to encourage you, apply today. The deadline for applying is April 22nd, but you cannot do this application in one night. And so, get your pen out, get your phone out. Who am I talking to?
That's right.
Type up CCEAU. You look at that on Instagram or on Facebook, and you will see the application link right there. You're going to need to get some references, your CV. That's the platform that we want you to action here in the Bahamas. And you've got to fill out an essay. And you will be interviewed by a panel completely outside of OPM, because we want to ensure that the decision to pick the best person is not in the hands of our office, but in people who are looking at what is on paper, what's the value. And so apply today, April 22nd. I do not want to hear any Bahamian say that there's no opportunities. Take the opportunity in your hand, grasp it, and we can help to change our country.
Absolutely. Now give that handle again.
Again, that's CCEAU. That's short for the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Go to the website, opmbahamas.gov.bs, and you'll see the press release encouraging you to apply today. Before April 22nd, Bahamians, do it today.
Absolutely. It's an amazing opportunity. I mean, this is what's happening in real time. You will get to be one of the lead voices and faces for the Bahamas just anywhere. You heard Brazil is next year.
This year, November.
This year at COP 30. And Brazil is ideal. I mean, the rainforest and all that, I imagine on the tours, like that is just going to be so super to kind of just see how rich and dense their environment is. Why is the Office of the Prime Minister continuing to not let this topic go? It's been fantastic and trending 1 minute, the next minute it's sort of been quiet, but yet you've stayed focused on climate change. Why is it important for the Bahamas through the Office of the Prime Minister to stay locked into this?
Because the issue of climate change has to be locked in and focused on at a head of government level. Ensuring that there is leadership from that level, it trickles down into all levels of government. We all saw what happened with Hurricane Dorian. We all have seen the heat waves that have happened throughout the country and the fires. We know that this issue is an existential threat for us as a country, so we can't let it go. It's not a trend, it's not a fad, it's something that impacts our way of life every single day. And we know that if we're feeling this, the young people are also seeing this, because this is their future. They want a place to be here. And so, if you are a young person, again, go to CCEAU on our Instagram and on Facebook and apply to be an ambassador today. We need your voice. We need you to be the change today.
I absolutely agree. I mean, it is important. You know, I was just speaking with someone earlier today about, boy, this hurricane season, we just really pray that you know, we have another wonderful, uneventful hurricane season. But we feel the heat. We see how it is getting hotter.
Yes.
And so that's certainly something to think about. What is it that each Bahamian can do, even right now, to begin making a difference?
I would say one of the things that we've talked about is in our yards we have trees. These trees that we say, this here, it's knocking against my house, or it's becoming an eyesore. No, these trees are helping to capture carbon. They're also helping to cool our yards. Bahamians, just trim your trees. Keep them up, because they help to prevent flooding, they help to keep us cool, they help to capture carbon, and they act as a protective barrier for wind as well. And so keep the trees up. Second of all, when you hear opportunities for Bahamians to advocate internationally and locally, share the information. We share so much in our WhatsApp groups. Sometimes I open up my phone and I'm like, what is this nonsense I'm getting today? Share something positive. Go and message your family group, message your ma, your pa, the church group, cousin WhatsApp group, and tell them, apply for this thing today. And thirdly, I think just being able to talk about climate change, because we think that it's something that is just a fad. Tell people, no, this is not something that we should just say is a global north issue. It is an issue that impacts us every single day. Think about Hurricane Dorian, and then think, how do we want to ensure that we avoid that? And we need to ensure that we're fighting the climate crisis today, each and every one of us.
Absolutely. A great advice. I love that you say that, because I often wonder, driving about with all of and you have to kind of really sort of balance this thing with progress and development and, as you said, cutting the trees. What is the policy then with ensuring that we maintain a certain quota of trees? Because we are just happy to go and when you look, you see this land cleared. I mean, it's so much going on, even in New Providence. What are we doing to help preserve those very important trees? Because there's a lot being cut down.
Yeah. So, well, the first thing I would say is that I would not preempt the policies within the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, right? But we know that there's a policy within our country's nationally determined contributions of having 20% of our forest placed in a forestry estate to protect for future generations. And this is something that we are trying to do, right? And there is this balance about development while, trying to figure out what are areas that may need to be cut down. But there's also a policy of where we cut down, we replant somewhere so that we offset that issue. And so, again, I don't wish to speak for that particular ministry, but it is within policy to say we want to ensure that at least 20% of our land mass is covered and captured in a forestry estate to protect for future generations and help provide us co-benefits for reduced flooding, cooling, etc.
Yeah, it's super important, and I want to see our leaders also be mindful of that because protecting this environment is all our business.
Absolutely.
And it's urgent that we get it right and have the right balance as well.
100%.
And so once again, give us an idea when this competition wraps up and when people must have their applications in by, and also, once again, where do they go to access the application?
The application deadline is April 22nd, less than 2 weeks from now. You're going on Easter break? Go ahead and work on it before you go on Easter break. I know what you want to do. I want to take a break myself. But Bahamians, those who are within that age group, go to CCEAU on Instagram or look up Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit or CCEAU on Facebook. You'll see the link. You will be taken to a form. You'll answer a few questions, get your references, create that national platform, ensure that you put down your passport information and all of this details are in the package and submit it before April 22nd. Let's not wait until your computer breaks down or something else happens that prevents you from applying on time. We want you to join us in this fight against climate change today.
Really awesome and an exciting opportunity for two individuals. And so, listen, you never know. Go and apply, and you could be out there on the world stage speaking on something so important. Because I like that you also referenced that climate change is important for our food security, agriculture, and so many. Just the list goes on. So we've got to, people have got to begin obviously paying attention to all the variables, so that we can begin being smarter citizens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Charles Hamilton, the Climate Change Advisor at the Climate Division in the Office of the Prime Minister. Thank you very much. It's good. And also we want to hear more. When you find your visitors, maybe come back.
We will be back.
When you find your winners, maybe come back.
We will be back.
Yes.
We will be back, absolutely.
Yeah,
Shanique.
sounds very, very good. Really a great initiative and a wonderful program. Again, it's not new. It's now like in a fourth year. And so, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck, y'all. Good luck out there.
Apply today.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. To all of tonight's guests, is good also you all hanging out here with me this evening. Thank you. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. Certainly enjoyed having you along. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.